Thobela dumelang ra la amogela lebeletse daily Thetha na ka lebitso ke Tumelo setlogolo sa mathomo sa ga Mothotoane. Well, today we're having an interesting program. We're having Thetha moments. So we're asking young people ba leng gore ba gona in studio, our panel of guests including one mo leng gona ko gae gore what are some of the most interesting stories tšeleng gore no di follow tšeleng gore motlhomonyo go bolela ka tsona or fa comment ya gago.
Yes, igama lami Kini Shandu sanibona emakhaya namhlanje njengoba sesishilo Tumi sikhuluma about Thetha moments namhlanje. My favorite show lapho sinikeza khona ithuba ukuthi usitshele ukuthi siple story esibe senhlizweni yakho sabasenyongweni yakho ufuna ukukhuluma ngazo ufuna ukubhodla sifonele at home or nawo kanjani ukuthi kuba social network as well follow us lapho ko Facebook, Twitter and now we WhatsApp now can send a voice note yakho sizothina about that story.
Absolutely. Well, we of course hearing from you whether kid voice notes chagao whether wara phone ela whether of course you're on Twitter or Facebook. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Marafela, before we get straight into our studio audience members who what's been interesting for them, let's go to the streets of South Africa and find out what young people are saying about the current state of South Africa.
I want to countering it corruption and it let you go and most South African tongulang we are share shakapil no nyao pas khaletzen maroka level such it let you na such it let you hotlem man le mang o tsana each and every place o ka ba riksha nyao.
Yeah, South Africa mina interfere ingqondweni yami ukuthi it's a diverse country. There's different traditions and different cultures la eMzansi. Noma nje icrime isiphazamisa kancane mara okuningi sizokulungisa. It's a beautiful country.
Well, uyazibonela ukuthi bathini abantu emgwaqeni about izinto ezenzakalayo eNingizimu Afrika, but we want to find out from the studio audience yethu siza ukuthi bona bathini sikhona istory esimthintile nakafuna ukusiphawula ngaso as well. My brother ubani igama lakho and isiphi story osibonile in the month of June othi ufuna ukubhodla ngaso. Phamsi microphone yakho.
Okay, mina igama lami nguJacob.
Not Zuma.
Not Zuma. I know Jacob igama lami. So story bengifuna ukukhuluma ngaso lana is social media.
Yeah.
So ni social media, so ni imoshe into eziningi kakhulu.
Moshe ini.
Like abantwana, so they are no longer focused, more special abantwana basesikolweni.
Yeah.
Abekho focus. Like ngezinto ba busy ngama social media.
Okay, so that's your comment.
Yeah, that's my comment.
Oh, uyazwela ukuthi uJacob engasiyo kwaZuma uthini about social media. Do me?
Why you push that agenda?
I'm just saying.
Are you pushing it indeed? I don't know on Twitter what's happening with what people are saying. What do you have in mind? Well, I see a tweet there, Itra from Sia Tandaza or Daily Thetha. I'm just glad we're going to be discussing issues that we deal with every day of our lives. Maybe we can learn how to shella again.
How?
Get 2017 and you don't know. I feel sorry for you. All right. And what have you been following in the news, Elunkore? It's really stuck in your mind.
The stuff about like people taking our girls, killing our girls. Yeah.
So worried kayon?
I'm worried because we are girls, we are not safe. Like no maso hambe stratin, mawubona like imoto, uyabaleka, boni kwantam so sabano kibela.
What do you think should be done? So that this thing stops, it comes to an end.
Maphoyisa first, melayenze show ukuthi we are safe, but now asathembi because now bathasebenzisana nalabantu.
Well, Kini seems to be something Elinghor has been worrying South Africa. It's been months now. Yeah. I mean, today we'll be discussing some of those issues. We've known Kakarabo Mukwe and I've heard about so many women by Longore that have fallen into the hands of these perpetrators. And it's cool to me that the public transport sometimes it's quantum. And mobile quantum won't nine months on Isekaya. But now you no longer say, I was in Kibele no mangenzenjani and my sister Ubanika Malako and the CP story in the month of June when Yagabantabasha as a
so and this one really hit home because sithanda ukuthetha kakhulu ngokubaleka kwemfundo, and it's the story about these medical students who killed one of their own. It didn't make sense because at that university you see that we are talking about young people, and especially in Youth Month, to find this happening, it's very questionable. And then point as young South Africans, we are not really a lost nation, but we're very confused.
We are very confused. I wonder what about this at home. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter as well. About Intes Kulmangao to me.
All right, then. Well, let me just find from one more audience member.
Mina istori singitsintile kule month iso lesokutshontsha kwabantwana
Ish like awukwazi nokhapha umntana ecrash awufeel safe amanye ama-crash angena ama-gate avalwa ngo-8 so mele by 7:30 umkhaphi aye-crash imagine kufike kumimoto iyandlula uyasaba ukuthi what if lo muntu maybe usukunika i-lift yak-offer uyasaba nokugibela noma umazi because sometimes ubulawa umuntu omaziyo osaziyo isimo ukuthi okay la hlala amantombazana kuphela ama-adults awekho wazi sonke istory uye umuntu normally ongenelayo or okidnaphayo abantu abayenza lezi zinto lezi abantu esibaziyo esiphila nabo akusabantu bakude
so also feel safe
awufeel safe yes because mawusendlini vele uyi-1 mele uhlale ulokhile umnyango makanokho umuntu mele ubuze ubani osemnyango because uyasaba nawe intombazana yes akukho safe.
It's not safe indeed, Kini.
But besifazana abasekho safe. It's Thetha moment namhlanje mawuzibuza ukuthi sikhuluma ngani. Sikhuluma ngani about noma yini esenyongweni yakho ukuthena nje month of June wacabanga ukuthi kumele uphawule mhlawumbe ngayo. And ubuwazi ukuthi uzophawula kanjani. Find us on Facebook, fonele siza ukuthi yiphi lento le ngempela ekuwena ngaphakathi my brother ubani igama and masositshela ukuthi siphi story in the month of June esikuthintile nje.
Igama lami nguNtsikelelo Barnabas. So the month of June is Pride Month. So basically the month is dedicated to advancing LGBTQI rights in South Africa. And so I think it's very important we try and have a discussion in 2017, where are we with trying to achieve equality for people from the queer community, as we still see cases from like rural KZN and Eastern Cape of correctional rape of black women, of black lesbians that don't identify as heterosexuals. So I think we really need to question the values and norms. Are they working for people who don't identify as heterosexuals?
I have a question for you actually. Yesterday we had a very powerful topic about the youth of 2017 confronting the youth of 1976, and one of the things they highlighted is their concern with not enough black women being documented in history and the role they played in the history of the country. Do you feel the LGBTIQ community feel a lot of credit in terms of some of the contribution they've done post democracy in SA?
Yeah, I think also there's a lot to look at there, because the system obviously is one that has been constructed to work against people who don't identify as heterosexuals. And in most instances, they think that their safety is more important. So most of the time they do a lot of contribution to achieve change, but they don't come out to the public because they're not going to be accepted because of cultural values that are quite problematic, to be honest.
Interesting.
Sabukeli Daily Thetha on SABC 1 and namhlanje sikhuluma about Thetha moments and into soyenza njengamanje soba nama-cards wethu sibe nama-guest wethu azobe-choose ukuthi noma yiphi topic siza ukuthi umbono wabo uthini about yona. Konke lokho kuzokwenzekala after the break. Welcome back to Daily Thetha. Namhlanje sikhuluma about Thetha moments and sine youth ekhona njengamanje siza ukuthi mbona abethini about ama-topic esinawo la. Sizobanikeza ikhadi and siza ukuthi bacabangani and basinikeze umbono wabo. We do have Ludwekazi Ndlazi, Musa Smilane and Mapula Mosia. Welcome to Daily Thetha.
They look
officially
nervous. Every time we have Thetha moments, they're like, what is it in there? Yeah.
Ubani choose aqala ne?
Who should pick first?
He's outnumbered.
He's outnumbered. So patriarchy first, And it's a patriarchy first. So you're going to choose a card, and then whatever the contents are in this card, we're going to discuss your opinions, what you think should have done or happened, or first thing that comes to mind. Ne?
Okay.
So
I'll of course read the card.
All right, read the card and then just show it to camera.
Prison dancers. Hoa. / strippers.
I'll pick that card like the
camera, so we know it's real.
Okay.
Hey,
what do you think?
First of all, let me start by saying I saw the picture that was shared on Facebook. And I laughed and laughed. It was a picture of a lady, and she was like, "Hey man, lights so good, man." In front of these homies, and they were like, "Oh man." And then I thought it was a fake story, and then I was really surprised when I found out that it's actually happening. Why shouldn't prisoners have strippers?
What?
I feel like some of these homies are going to be there for 25 plus years.
Look at the homies going like...
They're like, why not?
Look at brother
Give them something to look forward to when they leave.
Aibo. So you felt like it was appropriate?
I don't know if it's appropriate. I'm pretty sure they're meant to hide it. I'm pretty sure it wasn't supposed to leak like it's supposed to. But
they're saying, and some of the prisoners abantu abarepile. And for those people who pindos about provoker as well, and let abantu besifazane, because you remember at some point abantu bakhala ukuthi kwaba nenkukhu ecocobaliwe khona lapha ejele as well. It seems as if sekumdlalo nje lapha ejele and stuff like that. I believe that some people are suspended for that.
Sure. Well, to be quite honest with you, the prison system is something to be concerned about.
Yeah.
Because I have someone I know who's in jail, who has access to a cell phone. Seriously speaking now, has access to a cell phone and WhatsApp. And it makes me wonder, because the thing about, oh, by the way, my previous comment was a joke in case you didn't catch it.
It better have been. You're outnumbered. You're on the couch with
But it's very concerning, and I have to wonder with myself, isn't part of the problem we're having with lack of safety, with drugs, with crime, isn't it coming from the fact that we have certain people not doing their job who should be doing their job? Is it possible that because there's no consequences, there is no justice, is where we find ourselves?
That's a good question.
I'm looking forward to going to a prison like this.
But Musa, what do you think of that comment?
No, I still get my point. I mean, if they strip clubs in prison, where's the penalty for doing crime?
Sure.
There's actually a lot of myth to this statement as Thetha Umusa, because you see, the whole point, the whole idea of prison is that you're going there and you're kind of going to rehab, and you're also facing punishment. So how dare you have fun when you're supposed to be serving your punishment? So the whole thing, and how social media has now allowed us to make a joke out of everything, but it's actually not really funny, because it's in the same manner that I look at how people use phrase rape and try to describe things using rape, and it's in the same manner that this is not applicable. This is applicable. I think abantu mabayiqonda into ba you don't just live home, commit crime to have fun in prison. Do you understand? So for me, it's a bit absurd. It's not funny at all, and it's a cry for help. So if we don't do anything about it, it means that the processes in place in prison right now are not really helping.
Mapule, what do you think about the power of social media? Because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the power of sharing and for videos and pictures going viral on social media, or expose some of the faults that happen in prison.
Yeah, I think so, because a lot of information we get it goes social media. So social media, as much as actually there's phones and stuff. So the particular people, those are the information to social media. So it's fun for them. It's kind of a good thing to do, because they get information and then they know what's happening, go jail. And then they do whatever they do. They do crime because they know go jail, it's fun, because how not difference because you do whatever.
Wow. My brother, chabla kakhulu musamayithinta le ndaba yama strippers ejail. What is your take?
Okay, personally I have a different opinion from the people who just spoke, because I feel like prison is a place where people go to be rehabilitated so that you can actually go back into the society and function properly, right? So in prison, people are actually entitled to entertainment. Right, people
they are what? Entitled
to entertainment.
They do read books. If I'm not mistaken, they can actually watch TV. So why can they not see the things that I can actually see on TV, actually can read about and visualize?
So having women running half naked in a public prison is entertainment. You see that as entertainment, especially during Youth Month, with everything that's happening around Basadi in South Africa. This is the right time for that sort of entertainment.
Well, I wouldn't say this is the right time, but it still is entertainment, regardless of the fact. And these people actually really need specific entertainments in a way. So someone can read a book, someone can watch TV. Still the same. The only difference is that they're actually seeing these things live.
I think for umuntu ongekho jail to go to a strip club, you pay so much money to go into a strip club.
How do you?
But but for abantu ababoshiwe that we think ukuthi bazobuya sebe rehabilitated, do you think it's fair for them to get such entertainment for free?
Well, when you say free, in a way, our prison systems actually run through taxpayers' money, right? People, our money is actually paying for these people. So we should pay for them. Well, we're actually paying for them to be better people, so that when they come back into society, they do not commit the very same crimes that they actually committed. So actually trying to make sure that they actually come into society with a different mindset, and they can actually function properly without actually recommitting the same things.
My brother, maybe it's also your opinion. Going to a strip club, a better person I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I'm also not sure, but you know what, Kini, are going the voice notes, because I mean everyone wants to comment and say something. Voice note, you can send yours on 0606796835. Our first voice note.
Hello, I'm Mzansi from Orange Farm. Mina into engidinayo in South Africa is the killing of women and children is gone too far. And I'm a strike maningi la in South Africa. Everything is on strike. Yonke into ya strike elwa asazi ukuthi what is happening. We should sibheke lento leyo, and I think the ANC should do something about it.
And I think we discussed this, Kini, protest culture in South Africa. I mean, even just yesterday, certain doctors were not, permitted. Communities in Mamelodi were also striking because of the wall that was, suggested. Di strikes in South Africa, especially from 1956, when Basadi South Africa never march for the pass laws to date.
If I may, Tumelo, I think there was a kind of conversation we had to have in the past because of how powerless and dispossessed we were. Yeah. We had to break the system down because we didn't have rights, we didn't have a platform. Yeah. Today, it is very concerning to find, and I'm for the Fees Must Fall movement, don't get me wrong, but I am concerned by people who are intending to benefit from that Fees Must Fall, burning libraries. Yeah. It says that maybe we haven't talked about, is there another way to reach the people that we need to reach? Can we protest peacefully? Yeah. Can we have some kind of a social media that's very powerful these days, and I feel we use it wrong. Yeah. How about that to get our message known rather than violence?
Omunye umuntu would say, Guti, sometimes I remember we had a show like that, Omunye umuntu to government, saying, good, sometimes strike is the last option because you've been trying, but nobody's interested until then some people will start to listen to you and stuff like that. You're saying true.
But I can say strike us Tuesday because the more they strike, they destroy other things.
Like looting and stuff like that.
Because if they're striking for this thing that is happening now, where women are being killed, they strike, but then they destroy schools, including clinics, but then they're not helping. Instead, they're destroying what will help us in the future.
Generations as well. So you feel more violence, I too see in strikes. But I could go to Tabo Oring on Facebook. Tabo Prosper says, I'm concerned about drugs. We have to eradicate them. Our youth is dying. Absolutely. We also had a show here on Bluetooth and how Bluetooth is a new phenomena. It's really killing our youth. And once you're in it, it's very difficult. But we have all these topics. Stay tuned. You're watching Daily Thetha.
Welcome back to Daily Thetha. Sikhuluma Thetha Moments namhlanje sizwa ama comments wakho on Facebook uthini about this. I see something from Umbota Tabiso oti for that to happen in our correctional facilities. It is really a punch in the face for our justice system. Ukhuluma about those trippers abonagala ejele edanza. Hano my dance angibonanga kahle babe.
Barbie entertainment.
Babe mile khona la. We do have ama guests wethu amasha njengamanje sizoza ukubathini bona about ama moments esinawo and bazoyichuzela again to me.
Absolutely. We have Mafusi Sitsogali and Lindo Kuhle Mabaso. You know the drill, ne?
Yes.
You know the drill. So make sure you're choosing the right one. So let's have you Lindo choose here. You can choose.
Are you sure?
Mara mida santa wale popular.
No.
Bambile tatile. Read it and show it to camera too.
Okay, it says celebrities writing books.
Oh, there's a new one.
There it is.
Nice one. What do you think?
I mean, I think, firstly, depending on the kind of book that it is, I think what books have seemed to do, and I think I'm relating specifically to the book that was released by Trevor Noah last year, is that it provides such a clear and clean slate for them to tell their own story without external prejudice. And I think that's what lacks a lot, given how social media has so much power to depict people in ways that they want to, especially to sell a particular story. And so it's always so important to have an individual individual have the ability to tell their story on their own terms and from their own experiences without necessarily extensive input from individuals who have their own certain perception about that person's story. But then again, I think this is also not to say that another person's input isn't welcome. I think it's also okay for a person to have their own view about Trevor Noah's story. But I think even in that, it's okay for people to have their opinions. But I think it's also great when we have platforms like books that enable our celebrities to tell their stories, to write their own work and their own lives.
Any book by a celebrity?
I have never read a book about a celebrity.
Maybe you have, an opinion about
a celebrity. I'm not actually interested in celebrity life, but I read books. I do read books. Yes, I read books which they tend to become movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of celebrities Palama books these days. We've seen the likes of Fabo Kanyimbao and then Kini Kumar. Do you think you need to be at a certain level for you to write a book, or any celebrity? If you feel like sharing your story, you can just write it and put it in a book?
I think it's okay that they write books, but then because I feel, because I'm also a writer, so sometimes you have this thing, it's called a writer's block.
Okay.
Like you have so much emotion that you cannot write things. So obviously if Kanyimba releases a book and then we read it, we expect, maybe we see Mahareng. We're expecting her to write another book and then she doesn't write it again. You know how we youth will be like, and then now Hasangola, like Mahareng. That means she was lying. She cannot she can't remember what she said on the other book to a point that she cannot write another one.
Alrighty then. I didn't go to the audience members and what they think. My sister,
I think it's a good thing with some celebrity about the life which is and put more about them because very interested to was the celebrities. Yes.
And I this thing, celebrities, most of them they're not educated. Like makeup, there's there's nothing. But I think once author, somehow it changes people's perceptions. You know? I didn't get another one.
Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just have a comment because this is coming from one book lover, and I know a book by, I think it's Boni. Yes. It was a very powerful book. It talks about a position of a woman who's going through so much in her life. But I think one of the most important things that we need to really give the celebrities a heads up on is them acknowledging that they're not professional writers. They're not authors. And so they get people to tell their story right. Because another thing is we need to respect the craft of writing. We need to respect readers. So as long as they know that they're not just going to write anything, they're going to get a person who understands the processes and procedures and respect the readers. There's nothing wrong with telling your story.
Absolutely. Powerful indeed.
Can you go to next cue cut? Let's check it.
Yeah. All right. Mafusi, in you we trust, I guess. Choose a topic.
Concords on secret ballots.
Oh gosh. Ooh la la.
Constitutional Court on secret ballot. Have you been following the news on the secret ballot story?
I haven't. I don't even know what's happening.
You don't know anything about it?
I don't know.
In your country. Yeah. It's falling apart and you don't know.
Bantu Olomisa will be very much disappointed. I'm sure.
So much pressure.
You know, good your comment.
I think firstly, can I just say that as a university student and having exams having just happened, it's so hard to keep up with news when you have to keep up with your course. But that's just my excuse. But I think also just from the little that I have and from, I think, a very objective kind of perspective, I think anything, if not so long ago, there was like a secrecy bill that was passed in South Africa, and there was question on whether or not we should have secret agreements within the branches of government that ought to occur, and whether or not there should be open news that there should rather be open conversations and communication between the government and its people. And I think once we allow for some sort of secrecy, that becomes an element that becomes so diluting to democracy. So I think an openness and a transparency between the government and its people is always key. So I think just on the idea of secrecy in general, that's my perspective as an individual from a democratic, from a democratic nation.
Interesting. My brother, and I just want to ask, because in as much as we may be be debating not all things should be kept a secret. But
Yeah.
what happens if we're in parliament and the ruling party decides this is how we want to handle information, Yarena? We don't have to do what opposition says or what opposition thinks. What do you think if at least they have that power to say we hold the power to have secret ballots kama parlamente?
Okay, so generally the Concord was specifically talking about whether Black Mbete has the power to actually whether decide as to whether they can have a secret ballot or not. Yes, and based on the fact that there is potential for intimidation, okay, that's the main reason why we need this to happen. Because within the ANC, I mean, even among their ranks, they clearly say it's not a secret that you're not supposed to vote contrary to the party. However, in the case that we're in now, it is important for our nation. I mean, we need to, for example, to be able to accept more of a labor force in the next 30 years. South Africa, and in fact, the whole of Africa has to employ 2 million people a year. Okay, 2 million people a year, new people coming into the economy. Okay, now if we have a political system that does not show any stability, something like this has to happen. Understand? Something has to change.
All right.
Okay. Before we go to me, I see there's something coming in as well. I don't know, Uzongchela, if we do have this topic, because I see, can we please speak about Gupta's granted citizenship in Africa? I don't know whether it's on that card or the following one or whatever.
How have you seen these cards? Yeah, I know. I don't know anything, but I do know in the news, Nohonale Portfolio Committee, hosted by, of course, Home Affairs, the department, they wanted, opposition parties never the answers. Just naturalization, the Gupta's citizenship, wanting to know what does it mean. But what do you think about the comment and also this Concord decision on the secret ballot?
I think the current system of voting in parliament makes politics very one-dimensional. So it's a matter of if we vote as a political organization, and it doesn't allow for individuality. For example, that is why this the vote of no confidence in President Zuma failed, because you vote as an organization, which is not fair, because some people within the ANC don't always agree with those opinions. And so you take parliament and make it extremely one-dimensional, and there will never be progress, because even though the ANC has the majority of seats, not everyone within that political party agrees with what the ideologies of that political party are. So you need to allow for people to secretly vote for what they believe in as an individual, but also still allow them to be a member of that political organization, because those two things are very compatible.
So you are for the secret ballot?
I'm for the secret ballot, because politicians should be allowed to also express how they feel about things individually.
So you feel like there must be sellouts, there must be sellouts,
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's really a tough one. But you know what? We're still having more topics. And let's go pay our bills. When we come back, we still have more cards. Our panelists, and we'll be right back.
The current state manje mina ngithi poor the way ngibona ngakhona, since siyabona siyasokola ngemisebenzi, abantu abaningi ba strike, the reason being ba strike maybe abekho satisfied somewhere.
Status saruna samo South Africa sikojang status, and then like the president ne sa ibatla go etsa go tsa nama ya ko China itlise mo South Africa, like the exports, the imports are one.
Well, that's what young people are thinking. There's still a long way to go. They're still looking for employment. Let away junk status, being told by the rating agencies, Moody and even others, or we've been, of course, relegated to junk status.
Downgraded, just like that. In fact, we do have Abang Vakashibet Namhlanje as well. Brandon Miti, Bonolo Masilela, and Henry Masugu. Guys, welcome to the couch. Are you ready?
Yes.
You got me two guys. Let's talk about junk status. Everybody's talking about South Africa being on the junk status. What is your take, guys? Are you scared? Are you not?
Did you expect it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people said they expected it after Minister Malusuki Gaba was announced the new minister. Something's going to happen to the rand. King anticipation, Alan.
Okay, I think when you look at the junk status, basically. It's all about where the economy is and where the economy is actually heading, right? So after that very same shift from finance ministers, this causes a panic actually in the economy, right? And this actually makes the investors pull back their money when it comes to investments and all that. And this actually affects unemployment and all these other sectors. So when they actually downgrade South Africa to down status, this is actually a bad thing for the youth or who are actually coming up. People actually want jobs and all that, because unemployment was going to be going up, and this was actually caused by the political instability which is actually made by the ANC.
But some people say we shouldn't even be concerned with these rating agencies, because some of them were actually admitted to being rigged, and most of them gets out, from Western countries, first world countries. What's your opinion about these rating agencies?
I personally believe that if we look at it, they're like international boards, so they don't really have like a clear picture of what's happening in South Africa. However, I also feel that the junk status in general will not favor the poor. If we look at it, it will always favor the rich, because if your credit levels are like okay and you don't have any debt or anything, you'll still have your investors if you look at it. So I personally believe that if you're not from the youth and you're like employed and you're living life great and you have all your mentions and everything, junk status really won't affect you. But if you put prices of food and everything going up, then it really is a problem. However, it's international boards. So also going that side and having to like convince them of what's happening this side and telling them like, hey, we are stable as a economy. So
a lot of opinions.
Because Henry, when I was on too, but what's your take? How about you choose the card?
I was so ready to. Send.
Read it and show it to camera.
Brian Molefe and the ESCOM.
Oh wow!
Comes to mind.
The former CEO.
I haven't really been following that story that much, but this guy was the CEO before.
Yes, he's the former CEO of
former
ESCOM,
CEO.
then made a member of parliament.
Member of parliament.
And then he wanted to be reinstated.
Back to CEO.
Yeah.
It was early retirement. It was, there were so many things.
He
He
resigned,
retired.
Yeah. There were so many reasons.
When he resigned, was it the time he went to the Shapin?
He went to.
That's why he resigned, because there was an implication of Sex and World there implicated, and the Guptas.
Look,
so for the sake of the image of ESCOM, he felt that he needed to protect the image and just resign.
And then he went to Parliament after that, and again came back to ESCOM as proper action now.
It's very clear. This is a game that's being played.
By who?
By whoever is in charge of moving people from post to post.
So that's the board.
Who can that be possible? Number one. Because I'm getting some stories.
I don't want to be dropping names and everything, but we just need to be clear on who is appointing these ministers, the CEO, especially of public entities. ESCOM is a public entity, right? And I think our number one is the one who is an influence, so to say. So he moved from being the CEO to Parliament, who takes people to Parliament. So I feel like when he moved from ESCOM to Parliament, there was an agenda that he was here to fulfill. And when that agenda was finished, or when it failed rather, they were now trying to take him back to ESCOM.
Yeah, because there were newspaper reports and critics saying he might be the next finance minister.
Yes.
But when I leverage the role of the board and Minister Lynn Brown were public enterprise, how do you think their intervention was supposed to be? How were they supposed to handle that whole scandal?
I just believe that, first of all, Brian Molefe was not supposed to go back to ESCOM, because when he was there, he was crying, to be honest, when he was involved in... No, but he was not happy, hence why he left, to save his image, and then he went to Parliament, and now he's back to ESCOM. So it makes you question as to what is it that made him go back. So do they have... I don't know, are they playing cards as to, okay, you act like this and I'll act like this and then we'll move you from here to there? Because even the whole retirement scandal of the 30 million, and he was there, I think, for like 2 years or whatever. So, I don't know, South Africa.
I mean, the chairperson, the board also resigned. With immediate effect as well. What's your comment?
Personally, when I look at the ESCOM situation, let's look at the board of directors. They're supposed to serve in the public interest, right? So for them to be bringing back Brian Molefe, who's actually implicated in scandals, I don't think that was very a good move for the entity on its own, because now they're actually showing instability in a way, and we're not really understanding what's really happening, and we actually we clearly know that ESCOM was not really run well in a way. Then when Brian Molefe went out, we're actually expecting improvements. So for you to bring back the very same guy who actually caused these very same problems, I don't think that's actually a good move.
I see Umuza on the side. We are about this.
First of all, these two stories are connected. The fact that the Moody rating agency have downgraded us, and the fact that there's so much circus going on with appointments in our country. But I want to first start by commenting about the Moody rating agency. In 2008, when America had their big crash, it's because people were buying bonds that was rated AAA, but they were actually junk. So we need to be careful as South Africans not to let the opinion of international community determine. Here's what determines whether we're going to be a valuable country or not. We create value, start businesses, create stuff, and put it out there. By the time the rating agency comes, we've already proved that we have value. That's the first part. However, now that the ratings are here, it's because of how the country is managed. People are feeling like our leadership is incompetent. And I think the two is tied up.
Yeah. Alrighty then. Well, on Twitter, what is Pagamile saying? Pagamile, or there are people who need jobs while Brian Molefe is busy changing jobs. Is that fair? Thetha, no, man, I don't think so. Was he really changing jobs, or he just jumped back and forth?
He was changing. You know. 1 minute is the parliament member, and the next thing is on ESCOM, so he was changing jobs.
Yeah, no. Alrighty then. I ask you about the acting former CEO of ESCOM. He was implicated in giving his stepdaughter detender, and he claimed that he had no idea that his stepdaughter was a director in that particular company. He was just, thinking, I'm just, empowering here. But what do you make of that? Do you think due diligence was followed?
Personally, I don't really think so. It was before the tender is actually given. There are processes which actually happen. You actually know who this person is, what they do, and all that, what the organizations do. So for you to actually not know that you're actually related to this person, like this is your daughter,
stepdaughter.
Firstly, stepdaughter. Then next thing, she's the board of directors. Next thing, she's having the tender. Like that's just some shady business which was happening in there.
Yeah.
Because I've tried tenders before.
You've tried them.
I've tried them.
Yeah.
And if you're a public, if you're working for government, right, or if anyone whom you are related to is working for government, when you apply for a tender, they ask you those questions. The disclosure, do they call it the conflict of interest or something like that?
Right.
You have to disclose if you know anyone who works for government in power.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense that this guy did not know. If due process was followed, it doesn't make sense that this guy did not know that he's.
But also, stepdaughter, some people tolerate with stepfather. But they don't disclose that. Yeah, they don't disclose that. Only to find out that actually I'm a stepfather. So it's
okay, yeah. No, it's fine. Let's go to an ad break and find out if Ngembela we are presenters of Daily Thetha. Let's just go ask our bosses. But when we come back, we still have more topics we'll be discussing. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, Liability Daily Thetha. We're talking Thetha moments, and we're almost at the end of our program. But not before we get back, some of our panelists back on the couch what they think about some of the topics that we have.
And also on social media as well, follow us and see Kini. Again, let me see, there's something coming in from Karabo. Shandu, since our country is rich in minerals, we can open schools that teach children about minerals. So I think that's a comment coming in on Facebook as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Are going on voice notes?
Voice notes.
I just want to know from OCC out there who are black African women, why is it that they feel that they need to wear weaves and do skin lightening? I just want to know from them, why is the notion of being beautiful needs to conform to those standards? Wearing a weave And if you're not light enough in complexion, you need to do skin lightening. Like I just want to know from the panel out there and everyone.
Thank you, Nhlanhla. You have a right to know the true identity of our Sisi, the natural hair. It's your right. And the correct skin color. So our Ludwekazi and Bobo Nolo must just explain what's happening.
Umuntu umfonela ebusuku nge-FaceTime. Iwiva isekho akasafani
like
bathi umbone mina. Bonolo.
Kwenzakalani ekhaya?
Kwenzakalani?
I personally believe that whether you like have a weave on or you have natural hair or you cut your hair should not necessarily be a matter of you're going through an identity crisis. Because even if I have a weave right now, it does not mean that I'm insecure about who I am. Because this thing does come off, you know, but I do want to look pretty at the same time. So I just believe it's just how I want to come across. But it does not mean that I can't even, I'm pretending to be someone else. So I
you
just
don't
feel
feel
like
pretty with your natural hair?
No, I do feel pretty, whether with my natural hair or without my natural hair. Because I just feel like sometimes you go for different looks. So if I decide to cut my hair, it doesn't mean that I don't like my hair. I just decided maybe with tea.
Some people see it as an accessory.
Exactly.
Today can have,
Same
a
with
bob,
earrings.
today can have this.
Exactly.
It depends on a mood.
Yeah.
You know?
How about skin lightening?
Kini,
is that the natural skin tone?
Let's find out. Let's research. No, trust me, this is it.
On the subject of skin lightening, the other day I almost had a mini heart attack and a really serious panic. When I think about Lupita Nyong'o, if I would wake up and see her lighter, I'd feel really robbed because she is so beautiful. She's the epitome of a black, beautiful woman. But at the same time, you find people who are really black and strong and rooted in their cultures, but they have albinism. But that doesn't mean they're any less black or African in that regard. But with skin lightening, I think the issue is very much psychological. It's all about reasoning behind it. Why are you doing it? And at the end of the day, people will argue that it's taste and preferences. If I don't like the pigment of my skin, well, it's really unfortunate because black is really beautiful. And we do say black don't crack. So it's really all those things, but at the same time, we can't take away that if anyone lighter appeals more to you, it doesn't mean that the fact that I like people who are darker, it makes your opinion wrong.
So you said if ungavuka ngelilanga Lupita Nyong'o emhlophe ungaquleka.
I feel very robbed.
Ekhathi uvuka umshoza emhlophe wenza
in that same manner, ndaquleka, because for me,
give them the cards.
I think we need to move on to the other cards. Let's just find out, because this is our last batch of cards, and this is our last segment. Who hasn't? You haven't chosen it. Let's have you pick.
Let's take this one.
Okay.
Sandile Manso.
Manswe. Please show it to camera. You do know who Sandile Manswe is? So Sandile Manswe was implicated in the Karabo Mokoena murder trial. He's at the center. What do you make of him and his involvement being at the center of this, murder trial?
Well, basically, we're just looking at it actually against women being actually abused and all these violent crimes and all that. So what he actually did was something which is not really acceptable lately in society. And because of that, I personally feel like he actually should go through his trial and actually get his time, because what he did was something which is actually bad. And this is actually an example to all men out there that shouldn't actually be committing such things.
Speaking about that, after that, what about that hashtag men are trash? Trend are cool. What was your response to it? What defender? Because some people are defending, some people are like, we can't even defend this.
Okay, like men are trash, for example, I don't think you should be offended if it doesn't include you.
Shouldn't catch feelings.
Basically, if it doesn't include you, why are you catching feelings?
Musa,
unless if you're related to something.
Musa, are you on that one?
Yeah, something.
You want to say something?
Hashtag men are trash. I don't believe in it, and I'm against it. Because there are men who protect women, and there are men who kill women. So if they're saying men are trash, what about those who are protecting us? What about laba abasmelayo? So when you say men are trash, you have to think about it out of the box, because lentole because we are protected by men and we are killed by men.
I'm not persuaded because Men Are Trash attacks manhood as an institution. So if there are good men, then that's okay. It's the same thing with like whiteness. We don't single out white people and say this one is good, this one is bad. We attack the entire system. If there are men that don't rape, then that's okay. The fact that you want to pick out and say there are men that are good takes away from the fact that there are women that have been raped and violated. And so it speaks masses to how fragile men are, you get me? You oppress women and you subjugate them and exclude them, and when they get a voice and speak up against patriarchy and misogyny, you backlash. I think you need to understand their lived experiences and how violated they are. The fact that they are 1 in 3 and they're most probably to be raped and molested. Probably there's a black woman here that has been raped. So we can't focus and say some men are not trash. We need to focus on the real issue that the system has been designed against black women. Even today, that is what we need to be fighting. We shouldn't be like submarine to what manhood requires of us to do and what to think of men.
Thank you so much. My sister,
quick one.
My name is Tumelo Olifant, but I'll try to like comment kulento sisashilo ukuthi trading ukuthi men are trash. Not bonke abantu besilisa bangama trash nani. Bakhona abenza izinto bangacabanganga because of anger.
Yeah.
And ba reactor bese bayisole after ukuthi ngenze into ebuhlungu. But ukuthi kumele explain wonke umuntu because of iphutha lomuntu it's not fair.
Interesting one. You want to say quick one just before we leave?
Yes, I think on what Tumelo just said, I think there's a problem in society where we need to be sensitive to the excuses that men do. That when a man is angry, we need to say, oh, he's just being a boy. I think even in those instances, it's not okay. And it's okay for us to actually say that you are being trashy because your conduct is not something that's deeply principled towards treating women rights. So I don't think it's okay for us to say, when you did something wrong and you violated someone, we don't have an obligation to protect your insecurities as a being. We ought to call you out, and like Untigelolo said, a system that benefits you and protects people like you, such as being patriarchy.
Alrighty then. Well, I'm going on Twitter at Daily Thetha on a totally unrelated issue. The ladies are flexing their shoes. Hey, like, hello, darling, listen up here. I ain't trying to start no beef, but for these ladies on the couch. Yeah, no, we just had to put it out there. And it's what I literally because.
Hey, no, siyasala, selling apart. Okay, but guys, says Valanje, speaking about my issues. But what push into that you guys want to see in this country? So, moving forward.
So for me, with all the issues that were discussed, firstly, when it comes to gender-based violence, I say we should all be feminists. And that means in that case, we all know that we treat everybody equally and we fight a fight that we're fighting all together. And then secondly, when it comes to our political parties, perhaps we should looking at politics in a business manner, because there in business, we look at structures and things are done in a very proper way. So we are very, very vigilant in business. So, and also, bad PR is this whole thing around drama, around our politics that we just need to focus on answering questions like how, what, when, and how. How is it relevant to us?
Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to everyone for joining us.